Hello, 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 and good afternoon. We listener them. Welcome once again to the Unifier Hour. They listen to we from www.richardconte.com, www.richardconte with a K.com. Una can catch we on any of we social media outlets then YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Welcome one more time to the Unifier Hour. With we today, of course, we get Dr. Richard Conte, where they vie for flagbearer for the APC party. Dr. Conte, please say hello to our listeners.
Yeah, Valda, good evening, listeners. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here again today.
Okay. So as usual, we to get straight to it. I get a number of questions then we don't line up for ask you. And Dr. Conte, I want to start with the situation of the country. Right now, we know say the situation of the country, it's hard. The ground dry, things difficult, and not a secret say from where this power government take power, and particularly in these recent times, corruption don't reach level there where and nothing say we don't want to see another country there. And at every turn, this is not the amazing thing. At every turn, when they hear this government, they make claims of success, of having run a successful government, and then always they try for blame the former ruling party, APC party, say, oh, then be inherit a bad situation. But the fact is, they don't stay in power for quite a few years now, and then they make the outlandish claims of success. Then they talk about how then they pay salaries, um, but we know say the reality is salaries are not being paid. Angry rampant in the country, people they're hungry, people they not get outside and they go waiting and they look forward to. And I mean, just want to give you an opportunity for giving, uh, giving your own lens on this particular claim, the way we hear from this government.
Yeah, thank you very much, Valda. I think the claims where that they make are very frivolous claims. In the first place, I want to state for the records that the then governor of the central bank, when Dr. Patrick Konteh, they tell the whole country, say at the time where APC been the left power, we've been left in excess of $500 million at the kitty. So that definitely cannot be a country way bankrupt. I want to also make we people there understand for say at the time where APC been the left government, the debt sustainability analysis where they been do being rate with country for they at moderate risk. But now, under this government, the debt sustainability ratio, where they don't do the assessment, they don't rate we at high risk. We get a lot of dire consequences and they try to suggest a lot of things. Then also the state say the better managers of the economy. Make I just put a few facts straight for make with people there understand. This government right now, they be the talk say where they can power, they not the trust for pay salaries. The debt situation where we get at the moment na Sierra Leone, now such that as of 2020, this country in debt na 30.71 trillion. And waiting that they mean, therefore, is that the debt where this country gets right now is more than the entire budget for 2019, 2020, and 2021 put together. is very, very serious. Now make the rate we are being in a very critical stage in terms of with debt sustainability analysis. And under normal circumstances, a country in debt enough for exceed 65% of GDP. And what's serious all of that now the fact say this government they spend at the moment 43% of all the revenue what they generate locally on just debt servicing. 43%. Salaries and wages, they take 30%, leaving government with only 27% of domestic revenue for pay for all other services. What this mean, therefore, is that this government simply not there in a position for sustainably manage the economy. And what they lead to that? Now, a number of factors. And one of the key factors that would lead to that the fact say the wage bill is bloated. As at the time when we the hand over, the monthly wage bill be only be about 165 billion. Monthly wage bill, 165 billion per month. Now, where they don't come into power, the monthly wage bill don't go up to 240 billion. And now, it is over 300 billion per month, the wage bill. It's over 300 billion per month. And by the end of 2023, it projected that it could not exceed 330 billion. Being they spend on wages per month. And unfortunately, this government, because of their policy, we anti-private sector, we not allow the private sector to flourish so they could make money and pay taxes to government. We're not able to attract more investors into the country because of the draconian policies and because of the attitude and car with believing that every company that exists in APC company, therefore they forget rid of them. And because the private sector no get confidence in the types of contract that they enter into, and therefore they're not ready to take risks with this government, then the revenue where APC be they generate from the private sector, they help for cushion the budget for the APC. Capital, the finance, the budget, and the deficit just the increase. And that is very, very serious. In fact, there be the talk say they're not the trust for pay salaries. It will interest you for no say, then they trust heavy one for pay salaries, and that is very, very serious. The debts, the total debt where this country gets in 2018, the debt where they've been getting have been 22.3 trillion leons. This will be the total debt which Salon been get. By 2019, it go up to 26.78 trillion. And by 2020, the public debt go to 30.71 trillion, which means it just the increase. And when then they resort to ways and means, bank borrowing, domestic borrowing, for finance the budget, within that they mean, therefore, is that they lead to inflation. Because then they get for float treasury bearer bonds just for raise the money to make them able to pay salaries. And it's not just sustainable because the country now gets other means for raising. And it really worrisome because we really see light at the end of the tunnel just to push me deeper and deeper into recession. And for MEC then try for pushing that effect, then they resort to exorbitant taxation. A few weeks back, I've been talking a bit about the GST, for example. The
Yeah.
GST is supposed to be an end tax, and it's supposed to be 15%. But the way then they apply it, they end up as being anywhere between 30% and 60%, depending on at which stage then they collect this GST. Ideally, because now an end use tax, which means at the point of accessing the service, at the time the person for pay the GST, but then they operate they apply like a withholding tax. So therefore, then they require people therefore pay the GST in about 15%, where they import like that car center, they pay 15% na the port. When they come back at the shop, they can't put the car for sale. They don't put all the taxes. Then they don't mark up their profit. Then they require them back for charge the person they can't buy the car from that car center another 15%. Which means, really, they can't buy the car now from that car center, you have actually paid 30% GST for that car, which is wrong. It even worse for the wholesaler. The wholesaler, they pay 15% at the port. He come at the shop, where he sell the commodity, he add the 15% again, GST, after he don't do all the markup. Then after that, when this person can buy from her, for go sell again in the shop as a retailer, then go ask against the instead for charge GST, which makes it 45%. What this means, therefore, is that they increase, because they naturally just transfer the burden to the consumer. And so now make it see say the cost of commodities just to increase by the day. And we're not able to sustain that. And it mean, and the salaries they remain the same, we're not able to meet those costs, In 2018, the time where they come into power, for example, a bag of rice was about 200,000. The minimum wage was 600,000, which means with your minimum wage, you can buy 3 bags of rice. Now, the minimum wage remains the same at 600,000. A bag of rice is now anywhere around 500,000, which means now your salary can barely buy you a bag of rice, minimum wage. This is just not sustainable. And we are talking here about the majority of Sierra Leoneans having their salary around that figure. When you translate that into what this mean for the life of the ordinary citizen, is very, very worrisome. So extra money not there for make person go and buy any other commodity, other good or service. They already make traders, then they tote the market, come for car sale, open their shops for sale, whole day, all they sell, they lock back and go home. Because for perishable, that way they sell perishable goods now big losses. The one way maybe don't go take loans for try for do business, they're not able to make the profit they need for make the able service their loan, so that all they end up for become bankrupt and they go out of business. This now the unfortunate thing where they happen at the country right now. So to just remain suffering. So clearly, on top of all of this, we get an exchange rate where the spiral out of control. When SLPP they take office in 2018, the exchange rate was like 7,000 to the dollar. Now, the exchange rate is around 13,500 to the dollar, which means the Leon don't depreciate so badly that people there where they do business, they really suffer. Before now, where they go na Guinea for go buy, even if you go to Leon's, the Leon bin get value pass the Guinea money. Now the Guinea money don't get value past the Leon. So which means you know they make profits if you go to Guinea for go buy for cancel. And from Guinea, plenty people they go buy their commodities for cancel na salon. Now they cannot. go to Guinea. So they are all, only here stranded, and they are the mercy of a few people where they import goods and then they get forget at any cost, and the GST they kick them out of business. So we get a situation wherein clearly they're not able to manage the economy. And this issue about this exchange rate, coupled with the current international climate, now they make even things like fear not the market. I've been get some discussions with some oil marketing companies. They tell me, say, Richard, we cannot import fuel because we not get or in exchange for import the fuel. Regrettably, the Minister of Information and Communication, in one radio discussion or TV discussion will be there on AYV, he say this country gets 6 months of reserve for fuel. But there, I tell us, my friend, that cannot be true because that capacity not exist anywhere in this country for store 6 months of fuel.
Sorry, Doc.
So and this will
Interrupt you for
just go
one
for
second, please.
underscore.
Do you allow I interrupt you for 1 second? I want to let you repeat what you say just now. The minister been they try for make a claim. You've been go off slightly, and I really
Yes.
want to listen to the hear what you say.
Okay, the minister say Sierra Leone gets 6 months reserve fuel at the moment. Let me tell her, say it cannot be true because that capacity does not exist anywhere in this country for get 6 months of reserves. And this just to go and for further underscore this whole idea about propaganda. They just feel say then they can afford for just the tell untruths to the population, for deceive the population. But sometimes it's helpful if you just confront the realities and make the people they understand what are the reality and understand the efforts we government they make, if any, for try to address those issues, so that together with the people we all will find a solution. But then just feel say for lie and parade untruths about the reality on the ground will help. So you see, all of these pointers where I don't raise, just suggest say we get a poorly managed economy. They not seem forget a clue about how forget we out of this deep hole where we don't put there. But it only takes the grace of God for make people get out of there. But I will make the people of Sierra Leone remain assured that when APC come back into governance in 2023, we will restore confidence in governance in this country. We will restore confidence in the private sector for many and believe, say, this is a country where they can come and do business, make money, pay taxes, and repatriate some of their profits where applicable. And we will ensure, say, whichever contracts they enter into, those contracts are respected. We will ensure, say, we provide for them the financial capacity. We will strengthen the banks, the banking system for make them get the capacity for able handle the volumes of money that will come inside. We go ensure so we provide the social services where they need in terms of energy and maybe infrastructure in terms of good roads and water supply and those related things, so that when you come inside this country for can do business, you will able to do at a cost-effective way and make sure that you make money and things like that. We go revisit the whole taxing structure for ensure that it's not prohibitive. We get a situation wherein, look, we don't get companies like cold storage, don't they, in this country all these years. Now they don't close, then they Guinea. Now, if I make you buy Coke and Fanta, pass the importer from Guinea, shame on we in Sierra Leone. How can a business within this country for over 40, 50, 60 years close down and go Guinea? We get several Lebanese who don't move their offices to Liberia. How can we allow that to happen to our country? They should be moving from those countries to Sierra Leone. Why the cost of fuel all of a sudden will be always cheaper in Sierra Leone compared to other countries, where in fact they make we dey worried. We therefore begin monitor closely the filling stations the way they along the border for MEC. They're not going to allow people from Guinea and Liberia for come buy Nasalo and care and go for go make cheap profit and put pressure on the government in terms of bringing in fuel for the country. We have to be worried about those things. Now in the reverse. Now with the gas alone, now they take the big risk for go buy fuel that Liberia for can sell Nasalo, for go buy fuel like Guinea for can sell Sierra Leone. That is unacceptable. You know?
Yes,
So
Dr. Konteh, thank you so much. You don't raise a number of very important issues. Something else, something they were I want to really hit on, and that's now because we people them we now a culture waiting we lack now oral tradition. We prefer for listen to people then they talk than for go read, and we see say this pauper government then brand now for deceive the people then constantly. And another area where I've been just wanting to shed some light on. Now then they make claims say, oh, then don't improve in terms of the energy sector, the light business. Yet still, we people then they complain. See for charge light self. In fact, just the other day, I see somebody make a comedy video where he put on social media where he old langa extension cord. He saying they go find light for charging phone because this blackout business don't wanna. Yet what will they hear from the ruling government now that they don't improve? So I be want for let you throw some light on some of them here where then they go around, they make them claim they are. For the one that way, not always get access to information. Let me get some clear information around this area of energy. And with the area also, then they claim say out and don't build roads and don't improve infrastructure. And I then kind lie there, yeah, they make people that they continue for believe them and battle them and support them. Yet the reality now we need for let people then see so that then go make up their mind then properly when it can't to voting. Because outside 2 day for talk 2023, it go make or break Salone. We don't say, as you don't even point out, just now I ask you the first question. Situation just they go from bad to worse. Salone not ever day in this situation where inside a few years we move we country in debt so badly that the government only gets 27% of the income for able for provide goods and services. How then they able for make them claim they are say they don't improve energy. We're waiting the people then they see now the opposite. Then they claim say they don't improve infrastructure where we know they see no infrastructure in the country. Dear Dr. Konteh, you can throw some light on this for me.
thank you very much, Valda. Make I present the people there with 2007. The whole country, they get less than 10 megawatts of power available. When at 47 million kilowatt hours. The whole country. Within 90 days, within 3 months of the APC with the kind of power, we switch on the lights in Freetown and make them transform Freetown from being the darkest city in the world to one of the well-lit cities in the world. We get light. In 2009, we government commissioned 16 megawatts thermal plant at Black Road, 2009, 16 megawatts. In the same 2009, we complete and commission Bumbuna hydroelectric power project with additional 50 megawatts in 2009. And then with support from Badia, we also bring 2 thermal plants of 8.25 megawatts, we will also install the Blacko Road for supplement the Bumbuna, because Bumbuna is seasonal, and so we consciously in the dries we can get a shortfall in the power from Bumbuna, it can drop. So therefore, we will need for bringing thermal plants for complement, so that when Bumbuna the output drop, then we will pump in the thermal plants for supplemental. So with support from Badia, we will get for bring additional 8.25 megawatts where we install na Blacko Road. APC, therefore, it increase the power supply available from 10 megawatts to 80 megawatts in just 2 years. In under 2 years, we go from 10 to 80. By October 2009, we start for construct the 161 kV line. This now the West Africa Power Pool. The way they claim was say then they can bring light just now. Now APC startup from 2009 for construct, because the power lines there where we been get be 31 kV power lines, and those 31 kV power lines not being get strong enough for able transport the power where they come from the West African Power Pool. So being get for raise the quality of the lines to that. We also been get many hydro projects where we been get for back on for also increase. We get the Bankasoka and Makali Northern Province, we get Charlotte, we get Duana Moyamba. We'll go on for deal with. Even the Dodo hydro project where they supply Bo and Kenema, we been get for strengthener and double the power supply where it provide to Bo and Kenema. We also been get for work with ADAX, Namakeni, but they also provide additional power to we. So by the time where we left office, we government hand over a total of 280 megawatts of power, where they produce over 350 million kilowatt hours. This is a combination of both solar and hydro power. So you see, from 10 megawatts to 280 megawatts. And we also unbundle the power sector in terms of management, where so that we make a distinction between the one way they generate the power with the EGTC, the generation transmission company, and the one way they sell the power with EDSA, distribution and supply. So that for the time where we could decide for use independent power supply, like what we do with Agreco. So that if you get a system, so Agreco, they will get engaged with the EGTC when the data terms of generation, then it is done. Because if we centralize everything, then the entire management will be complicated. So that is how we were able to improve. We inherit from Chijan Kaba, the Mashakabo Highway. Then we start the process there, like 122 kilometers. Where they be able to do. When we complete the kilometers. So we acknowledge, we inherit the Siakabo Highway from the Chijankaba administration, that we don't start them, but a weekend end that we do about 43 kilometers for end the road for them. We also inherit from Pakaba the Bo Kenema Highway, the resurfacing from 2008 to February 2010. Now we do it. Pakaba, we don't do 43 kilometers out of the 69 kilometers. Where we come, we do the balance 26 kilometers. We complete already. So we acknowledge that. But for we APC, the one the way we 100% fund and complete, we get 12 of sites. One, we do the provincial and district headquarter towns all over the country. Every district headquarter town, every provincial headquarter town. We do between 10 and 20 kilometers for provincial towns, Bo, Kenema, Makeni, and we do and Freetown, and we do between 5 and 8 kilometers for district headquarter towns, depending on the size of the district. Now that make, if you go now to Pujahun, inside Pujahun town, you see tar, you go na Kailahun, you see tar, you go na Kabala, you see tar, and inside you go, you see tar. We do 40 streets inside Freetown. 40 streets inside Freetown. We widen the Wilkinson Road to 4 lanes, unprecedented. We widen the Spur Road to 4 lanes. We do the Lumley Beach Road. We do the Mange to Mambolo Road. We do the Rokupu Spur. We do the Tagrin to Lunge Airport Road. We do the Lumley Beach to Juba Bypass Road. We reach every town in this country. We do the Trans-West African Highway, where they connect Conakry to Freetown through Robere and Pamla. Where they make it now possible for make with business people, and they left Freetown and morning, then go to Conakry, then go to their business, they come back. We resurface the Makeni to Matotoka Highway when at 40 kilometers, and then we construct the Matotoka to Kwedu Highway. And the way beyond the travel, they know how difficult those roads were. I remember the time where I lost my mama. When the time my mama seriously sick, I left Kwedu for rush, come back to Makeni for can see my mama. It took me over 8 hours for left Kwedu for reach Makeni. Regrettably, by the time I reached Makeni, my mother was no more. I don't talk to her again. You know, you don't become unconscious. That is the negative effect of bad roads.
Yes, Dr. Konteh, thank you so much. You don't highlight a number of
if not being how the road is so now, 1.5 hours from Kwedu to Makeni. But
yes.
before you come in, I want to make a state now, the one the way SLPP they claim was in the do. I want to make them know say SLPP they for continue with just like how we said we get 2 roads where we continue from there. And these ones now the EU funded by the Juma Mano River Bridge Highway with 3 expansive bridges at very advanced stage. We redesigned the construction of the Wellington Masiaka Highway. I'm sure so you know about the famous toll road where to Moyamba Highway Road. Now we spend the money and do the Pendembu to Kailahun Highway. In fact, from Kenema to Pendembu, we finish them and then we spend the money from Pendembu to Kailahun, where they complete now. All of these roads, the Kihama Road Bridgeway, on the Robere River Bridge, the Mabam Bridge, all of those bridges were funded by the European Union, and we do all of those things. The Melatiwa Junction Road, we do all the technical studies. So you see, all of these roads where they claim now, roads the way we be done, raise the money for, and we don't do all the technical specifications, not just the construction now, the Kafo County. So it is not true. Now, in the last interview where I've been get with the information minister, I challenge him for make them show we just one project when they initiate, they design, they fundraise for them, then they award a contract and they implement her in 4 years. They not get one.
The people there on Adoyeri. this government where they in power right now, then they go around and they make a lot of false claims. So if fine, let we they the true, let we they know how we they make up with mind, where we they look we country in better one. These 2023 elections we get for camp. Now, very, very serious elections. If we not tie we oja and make the correct decision, waiting with a season as alone, we go think say it be better. So do you have me people then? As we they talk then, as we they get in kind of conversation there, I want to make una self they open in our yes. As una they open in our yes, make una they think back. Waiting una want for una future. Now this will beautiful country. Salon not supposed to be poor country. But if we get them kind governments they are continue inside power, we don't wear them. Una they listen to www.richardkonteh.com. Una they listen to the Unifier Hour on www.richardkonteh.com. Richard Konteh, Konteh with a K, www.richardkonteh.com. Thank you for tuning in. Una they listen to the Unifier Hour with Dr. Richard Konteh. Dr. Konteh, I still want for stay on this issue a little bit more because with this government, they claim say how they don't build hospital them, how they don't improve we country because we country not been get hospital then they don't can put hospital for we. Then on top that, then they make claims say how then get good governance because when it comes to the way then they run the country, the governance of the country, then they claim say two of the things they or at least a couple of things that when they try for take ownership for now that then don't repeal the death penalty, they don't pull the death penalty, and they don't pull the seditious libel law. I want for make you give a listener them a true picture of the actual situation around them two things there. So the claim where this government they make say na them work make the death penalty and the seditious libel law don't be repealed, don't be removed, they're not there again. And how then they go and claim say they don't improve the health sector because they don't add hospital them and therefore health don't improve now the country. We really see the exact opposite.
Thank you very much, Valda. I want to start with the false with the about this whole issue about the death penalty, where
Yes,
they
sir.
don't repeal. Excellent. I want to commend this government for where they repeal the death penalty. Waiting, however, appalling. Now the fact say by repealing the death penalty, they are literally saying no more will a judge sentence anybody to death and then kill her. That they mean. However, it's still okay for them for make the security forces then break into a prison, outside people and they in custody unarmed, go open fire by the prison and kill dozens, and nothing is done, even for investigate and properly and bring to book people away bear the greatest responsibility for that because it's not supposed to happen. That one is okay. But they can stop judges from sentencing people to death and they kill them. But it is okay for the security forces for break into a prison and kill dozens of people and get away with that. They don't repeal death penalty, fine. But so now it is okay for them to go to McKinney and because of a generator, then go kill over 6 people. Just may they forcefully take away a generator. That is not right. It is also good that they don't expunge the seditious libel law, cap 35 or so, whatever it is. Excellent. We commend them for that. But they replace them with a cybercrime law, where even more draconian, where they even further limit the freedom where people then get for express themselves in Sierra Leone, and they make governments get the power for even bug people their phones, or even become a bit more intrusive in terms of how then they access information from private information from people. That is not right, So, whilst I commend them for where they repeal some of those laws, but it's also not right for them for fail or protect people away there in their custody, for allow people to go kill them and get away with that. Nothing is done about it. Nobody is held responsible, and it's also wrong for make them go into places like McKinney, like Tombo, like Losar, like Tonkolimba, and just go kill people and get away with that. Police do not for use excessive force. The military not for use excessive force on the civilian, armless, defenseless civilians. Then get a responsibility for protect life and property. And so if we not feel safe in the hands of we security forces, then that in itself is worrisome. Now to the health sector and the claims where that they make. I'm sure say everybody knows that the APC, now we introduced the free healthcare program, the health insurance scheme, to an option from NACIT. We also bring about the national ambulance service. The ambulance here we did try for take pride in. Now we introduce the national ambulance service, and now we bring the ambulance there, in this country. We also we build the Chinese government hospital, and then within just 1 year of its implementation, the free healthcare initiative where we do result in nearly 2 million more under 5 outpatient consultations, because now it become a lot easier to make people there access those services. The 100-bed hospitals where they na Lumley, where they na Kiama Road, where they na Mountain Court, that junction there, where they na Eastern, all of those things now APC, now we raise the money, now just the implementation, we even award the contracts, now just the physical construction, now will not be able to complete whilst we be there in power. We then just take up for can continue, which is fine. Government is continuous. But just like me acknowledge the projects the way we inherit from Bakaba, where we continue with, I think say it could be helpful for make themselves acknowledge for saying their prediction will they implement so now APC now raise the money. Their hospital they build so now APC governor they raise the money, but since government is continuous, we they can implement her. Then road here will they do so now APC raise the money, but since government is continuous, we can implement her. And if I go ahead to tell you the number of projects where government be don't line up, APC be don't line up for do, where then wire just can't the car abandon. We before bring a lot of benefits to this country, one of which that the Mama Airport project. We all they acknowledge the constraints where people in the face when they travel into this country and travel out of this country because when they get for go over this estuary or get to the airport or come from the airport or get to their homes. It gets a lot of limitations, a lot of constraints. So we needed an airport on the mainland. Project it have cost we about 350 million for get a new airport on the mainland. Guess what? They are now spending 279 million for just build one terminal. Lunge Airport. That is exorbitant. Then they just don't further increase the debt burden. Where we great grand picking there. therefore pay tomorrow. That is not right. No wonder we then force some well-meaning civil society groups, Christian Aid, Save the Children, paying for with bilaterals and multilateral partners for debt relief. Because clearly, this institution becomes so bad that this government simply cannot handle it. They need help. And so then therefore resort to civil society. We care about the plight of the ordinary citizen in this country for appeal for people are sorry for we and give it debt relief. This is the situation where we don't find ourselves in, and it's very worrisome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Konteh. May people there, they listen to the Unifier Hour on www.richardkonteh.com, www.richardkonteh.com. They listen to Dr. Richard Konteh as they discuss issues around SLPP in government for the last 4 years. Some of them claim the way they make, where we no say no to two because we they see the reality on ground. Dr. Konteh, they throw some light on some of them here for we. Dr. Konteh, I want to shift just a tiny bit, still on this economy and the way things they go now the country, but I want to shift just a little bit to the issue of education. We a lot of talk on social media and the salon news about fake degrees and how people then they claim fake degrees and how then they affect the government, and then they point fingers to some of officer then where they in power, where also then the name say allegedly get fake degrees. Me personally feel say now just an extension of waiting with a see now the school system, and we understand say from where this government take power, they not do anything really. They not pay any of the school subsidies. The school then stranded. They not get money for run, and it obviously they affect the economy, and we know they pay attention and invest in future human resources, like how we for invest, and then kind lack of foresight when it can to investing in the people of the country. Now in the continue for bring we economy to the state where it dey now and continue for worsening them. I wonder if you can shed some light on this, the issue around fake degrees as an extension also of the terrible state of the education system, and how then they affect we country.
Yeah, thank you very much, Valda.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Valda. You see, waiting make this issue about the fake degrees very worrying. Now, the fact that this government gets their flagship project as the free quality education project, the hyper free education, free quality education, and now in their use for convince the ordinary Sierra Leonean for believe say, oh, me pikin be drop out of school today because I need to pay school fees for them. Now me pikin they can't go school. Then raise the hopes and expectations of the people there. Regrettably, in 4 years, they not build a single classroom. So they increase the number of pikin that we can at school, excellent. The access improve, more pikin than can at school, but they not increase a single classroom, which means they raise the pupil-teacher ratio, the number of pikin inside one class increase. And when the number of pikin inside the class increase, it reduce the ability of the teacher for deliver quality service.
Yes.
As if that's not bad enough. They say then get a school feeding program. Regrettably, we then go interview some pikin them around the country about the school feeding program. Then pikin say, na gari and fufu. Now they give to selected schools. And the quality of the gari and fufu, when they give to the people that is not to write home about. And I see that not bad enough. The only district we get the semblance of a good school feeding program na Kwenadugu. And because na CRS and they do that day. So how can you go about talking about free quality education where you not add a single classroom, you increase the number of people in the kind of school, but you say you want single shift, but you not increase the space where available for the beginner for grab. So that in itself is not working. Now, I tell you, waiting been there under APC. Under APC, in fact, primary was free, secondary was free. And not only that, even in the tertiary institutions, 75% of the fees for all students where they go into a tertiary educational institution, which is government owned in this country, was subsidized by government. 75% of the fees were subsidized by government. So the parents were only required to pay 25% of the fees. On top of that, government provide grants in aid to deserving students. So even this 25%, all the one that we give grant in aid, they not they pay this 25%. On top of that, we pay for all public exams free. On top of that, all physically challenged people where they enter tertiary institutions, automatic scholarship. All female students where they go study the sciences in all tertiary institutions, automatic scholarship. All of these things put together, they significantly reduce the burden. But APC will not be seen reason why for Vuvuzela that, because we believe say now we responsibility as a government for as a government, when we as a government therefore do waiting now we responsibility for do, need not for make somebody can pat you at the back for that, because it's our responsibility. But so we are saying these things now because people are doing far less and they are making so much noise. So at the time when we be there in power, no parent not pay for him pikin na university, even up to 3 million. In a public tertiary institution, because government subsidize all the fees by over 75%. So since the fees at the time were around 8 million, if you remove 75% from 8 million, it is less than 3 million. This will be the most expensive when Furabe, the students got to second year and third year. Almost every student automatically they get granted aid. So nobody will not get granted aid, will not benefit from. So this will be the type of educational system. And then we build several schools, infrastructure all over the country, several hundreds, thousands. all over the country. We increase the salaries of teachers by several 100%. Multiple times. We've been doing one mass increase of over 100% salary increase, and then subsequently we do 15, 20, 25% salary increases for teachers. We raise the teachers' salary significantly during the time. We make, and we not only raise them, every teacher where we approve got paid. Now we get a situation wherein they don't give teachers them PIN code, they don't pay them. And we get teachers the way not get paid. During the time, the payment of subsidies now be one of the structural benchmarks under the extended credit facility. Therefore, now be a priority for make sure say we transfer those subsidies to the local councils so they can make it available to the schools on time, because they're one of the devolved functions of the local councils. And we be pay them religiously every quarter. All the schools that they get their subsidies. But now we understand say they're not for run a free quality educational system where the resources we they need for the everyday operations of the schools for provide basic facilities at the schools not available. So instead of providing free quality education, instead of improving upon the quality of service which they provide to begin a lower the standards. This therefore explains why people they resort to other means for get degree. And we don't see now all kind university now they come out of this country. All kind university. All where they award all types of degrees. And most recently, we get people there where they go get doctorate degrees under the mango tree. I mean, how can you allow such things to happen? And it is not like this government not be know. Because when I read the press release from the Tertiary Education Commission, they say that people there they don't apply in 2000 to them for accreditation. They're not grantor. So they know they say that they exist. They allow them to continue to exist. They continue to award doctorate degrees inside this period. And sadly, prominent individuals in society, I will not name names for my personal safety. Prominent individuals in this country, they go under the mango tree, they get their doctorate degrees. And then they sign official documents as doctor. So for somebody like me, we not get me under the mango tree. We've been careful go through the rigors of education, forget 2 master's degrees, forget a doctorate. It's painful for say somebody can just go and pay and then get a master's degree.
Doc, if I can just interject Naya small, because you actually don't segue into something where I want for make you address. Yes, then degree they are way then just the give under mangotic, not to team way. I mean it really affects the credibility of people that way genuinely earn them PhD. And we know say you now one we genuinely earn the title of doctor in front of your name. So just for let people that know say, not under mangotic you go get you. Do you just give me just a very brief synopsis of the kind rigors where you been get for go through for under doctor they want your name. Let them know say not so fake doctor you be.
Well, first of all, you know, say I do my degree now. First degree in Sierra Leone. I do my first master's in Sierra Leone, Jala University, and then I go Germany. I do my master's jointly offered by University of Dortmund and the University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, Ghana. So I do 1 year in Kumasi. I can do 1 year in Ghana. I get my master, second master's degree. After that, I can lecture for some time. Then I go to Dortmund for language school. I go to institute for 6 months for go learn German. After that, I take the PNDS, proof of German language proficiency. I begin for go take that exam and pass it before ever they allow me for go start the doctoral program. And it took me 4 good years. I did struggle, I did do my research. I began for can Sierra Leone 3 times for can collect additional data because each time where they can, the war they disrupt, the process I get for run away and go back. I come back, the war, I go back. So I had to come 3 times for can collect data. Finally, I end up for take that long. Then, though I finished I write my dissertation, and in Germany, you get the need for coordination. And it's there. You go on you Google them, you will see them, and therefore publish a number of articles. So I've got a whole range of papers where I publish in my name. If you Google Richard Konteh articles published by Richard Konteh, you will see them on social media. So you see, this now the rigors where I get for go through. But now you can just go and pay $5,000. You go Dubai or you go Benin, then you doctorate, or you go Dominion under the mango tree. Only God knows how much they pay there for make them give them doctorate degrees. It's very unfair, and they know and ideally, under normal circumstances, honorary doctorate when you get her, they work out her. They put her in front of you. It's honorary. They begin call yourself doctor as a result of that because Anna.
Yeah.
Now give you. So they begin parade yourself as if you equal to somebody where you go in a class. And we get to a situation where when they find out now, they say people and they where they even use those fake degrees and then get jobs using this in this system. I don't think it's very helpful. It open up the whole thing to scrutiny, and they introduce a lot of other issues where not very palatable.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the outline where you outlined some of the rigors where you've been able to go through for earn the doctor where they in front of your name. And with that one day, I just want for make you again just go into the education system a little bit more. I know say you now past teacher, you mentioned say you lecture before you go do your PhD. You don't outline
And I
some
left
of
back
the,
holding a PhD for 3 years.
okay. So you don't outline some of the difficulty there where we don't see. In fact, how this new idea of free and quality education actually do the exact opposite of what in the name say, because it don't increase the teacher-student ratio, it not increase the inequality of education, and the teacher they were supposed to teach, not they get paid. Therefore, the whole system just almost don't crash. Waiting exactly you go do for improve this system. We they get a question they almost on a weekly basis. Well, not almost on a weekly basis. We they get a question they multiple times because people they understand say education. Now, one of the big ways they where we can invest in with human resources for let we continue for improve and not for the go be no more.
When you talk about quality education, it gets a number of variables where you get to think about. One, you forget the infrastructure for make you provide a quality education. Then picking for able come into a well-ventilated classroom, spacious classroom, who side them go able to sit down and then teach them. and the pupil teacher ratio not for be such that the teacher not going to pay sufficient attention to the individual needs of the pikin there. So which means when we come, we will ensure say we improve upon the infrastructure, build more classrooms so that we go reduce the number of pikin there we get for day inside one class. And this even including in the universities or tertiary institutions. After that, you get for look at the issue of the teachers. Teachers, you get for look at the type of training with the teachers they don't get. Is so we get for ensure say we teacher training colleges are well equipped, well staffed, well funded for be able to produce the right type of teachers when they teach at the school. These teachers have to be well motivated. You have to pay them well and you provide them with the services where they need, the facilities that where they need for make them enjoy what they do. After that, you get to look at the curriculum. When you talk about the curriculum, now which kind of education you they make available to the beginner? How relevant is that education to the needs of the country? So we get to make sure say the type of education we will provide for we beginner it will be relevant. It will be the type of education we go ensure say this beginner when he graduates, he able get access to a job. Not to format pikin don't go to university, he go get some kind of degree, we not able earn am a job. So you get for end up for continuous independent. After when you look at these things, you get for now look at issues of access. Waiting at the distance where the pikin get for worker or go obtain a particular service. How do you therefore ensure that you locate your schools all especially in such a way that the pikin them be able to get immediate access. And this it also include even at the tertiary level. How do you ensure that that happens? Two, affordability. How do you ensure that there is a school available, but at the same time that the children can afford it, that the parents can afford that education? Make it not be say the school day, but because of the cost of the education, the parents they're not able to send their picking and therefore the picking are not able to attend that day. And then what is the quality of the education where they provide in those institutions? So these are the types of things where we get for do. And since me self an educationist, I not only don't teach, but I get my first degree now in education, my first master's again Master of Arts in Education. So I do education. So I know. So I know I study education and I teach at secondary school for 4 years and I lecture at university for 5 years. So I know what I'm talking about. And I believe say if we want for address education, these are some of the areas where we need for look into and define details. I believe say we go flesh them out in we manifesto later on. But these are some of the things where we get for address.
Thank you so much, Dr. Konteh. My final question to you today before I give you a platform for make you talk to we listener them with respect to the flag bearer aspiration. I want to ask one final question, particularly about APC as a party in opposition. In 4 years, we don't see rampant corruption. We don't see incredible lies. We don't see uh, I mean, unparalleled deception of the country and its citizens. And people then want to find out waiting as some of the things then we APC as a party and members of parliament don't do for counter some of the or challenge some of the government corruption there and lies where we they see.
Well,
We know say APC don't make press releases, but people then they feel like say that's not enough. They want for no waiting else the party don't do for counter some of the or for address some of
Abi,
the
for one for left, for one for left that question they for the people away directly involved, like the run of the party for answer, or the parliamentarians themselves for answer whenever you get the opportunity for interview, either somebody from the secretariat or somebody from the from parliament. But I think say one thing where I will maybe talk about the environment within which the party they operate, the environment within which the parliament they operate, were not conducive enough for make the able do what they're supposed to do. And we all know, for example, how they impose a speaker on we. We all know how they remove we colleagues there from parliament, and we all know how they use voice vote for pass so many things. And we all know how they bulldoze themselves. They know they allow healthy debate. So even where just maybe we parliamentarians then get the appetite for challenge some of these excesses in the way then they run up with their governance, the infrastructure way they're in place at the moment, no, they allow them to do just that. That's a limitation. In a similar way, I'd not say one good thing where the leadership of we party, when you look at waiting the party don't go through from the 4th of April 2018 to now, the harassment, the intimidation, the bullying, the imprisonment, the beating, and all that type of thing where we don't go through. It takes a party with a clear leadership, a clear structure for make we continue for maintain the stability, the status quo to a great extent. And I think say the party don't try in that regard. And also say on a number of occasions we don't make representations to the international community. Me personally don't be part of the delegations of the party. We don't meet with the development partners multiple times for register with dissatisfaction with a whole range of issues. We don't meet with visiting delegations for register with positions. We don't issue out press releases. You see, the reason why the party they resort to those types of things and not maybe to violence or other more radical measures are because we see ourselves as a government in waiting. And because we're not a government in waiting, we know say we will take over very soon and we will address some of these issues. But definitely we have repeatedly on committees we have to serve. But because of this, the power attitude, they don't really care. I mean, look like the midterm census. We don't make all the noise we need for make about it. They don't care, then go ahead. You know, when NCRA they start their process, we raise objections. Okay, they make small adjustments, but they still go ahead anyway. We go for we'll not be getting a choice. We go for support them and then go ahead because that is all we have. You know, and we then kick with people out of parliament. We go to court, seek redress. These are the constraints where we find ourselves in, you know. And clearly, we believe, say, we have a constitution we for be adhered to. They say they want to do COI, where the constitution say the section 150 say there should be rules of evidence. There should be way for be set by the rules of court committee to set up the rules of evidence for guide how the commission go operates. They not do them, we go Supreme Court for ask for interpretation. Who cares? They just not even list the matter. They not even hear the matter. They never countenance the matter. People they don't go COI, they don't write the report, they don't show the white paper. People they don't appeal for stay of execution. People they don't appeal the matters there. The matters are not, some are answered, treated, some are not treated. They're not in any hurry for address the issues. We are just there in limbo. So these are all unfortunate things. But the party is taking every step where we're supposed to take under the prevailing circumstances and in a bid for make we not allow anything for degenerate to chaos, where we not believe say as a government in waiting will be very helpful for we. So it's a really dicey situation we'll find ourselves, but we'll try to make the best out of it. And I think say we leaders they try as much as possible. But of course, you can argue, depending on the angle they look at, in terms of what else could have been done or not done. But I think they don't try. But of course, a lot there is always room for improvement.
Thank you so much, Dr. Konteh. Very fitting end to we interview. Thank you for where you point out the fact, say, APC as a party, they act with the character of a government in waiting, because that is exactly waiting this party be. We wonderful APC party back to power in 2023. Now we aim, now we hope. And as I close on this note, I give some space now for tell we listener them waiting do now you na the only viable candidate we go able for carry APC back to power in 2023, and therefore we delegates there for vote for you for be the flag bearer. Thank you, Dr. Konteh.
Thank you very much. Comrades of the APC, we party day at a crossroads at this moment. Yesterday, we've been in a court. We go in a court expecting a judgment for bring closure to the matter between Alfred Peter Konteh and we party. By the way, me not to Alfred Peter Konteh, me not Richard Konteh. So we expect say that matter day before dawn be put to rest yesterday, and by today we party before now they think about putting in place modalities of how we go to the local level elections, up to the NDC, where we get we flag bearer, we go take we to convention. We go take we to the elections in 2023. Regrettably, waiting we go get the situation wherein the judge take on the party because of waiting transpire where somebody is say cause harm, and because the person cause harm, the judge threatened for recuse himself from the case with all its attendant implications. Very worrisome, because that type of action get far-reaching implications for we party and the future for we party. So it's very worrisome. So we they go through a very difficult situation. That is why we need for learn lessons from this going forward. For say we get to address issues head on. We get for nip things in the bud. When something they start, let we not see how they go astray. So even as we prepare for these elections, where we hope say will eventually come to place, we expect we leaders for make they take the moral high ground for guarantee a level playing field. It's not right for anybody with the in leadership position for making overtly, openly take sides in this struggle. It is not right. A no go born good begin. Allow a level playing field and let the best man win. Wetin we want inside APC na the best person for lead we against the SLPP and win. And the members of the APC don't get the opportunity over these years for evaluate we all, where they aspire for become flag bearer for this party, for make we see who that will feel say like the best person for lead we against LPP. Me as Richard Konteh, I don't demonstrate over the years for say I love my party. The only party we me ever know where me a registered member of are the APC. With all sincerity from the time I joined, I don't demonstrate that love even through difficult times. And at that, I think say we need a loyal, true APC person for lead we. The worst mistake what we go make now for mortgage we country to a stranger. For mortgage we country to person win a job he can't find inside APC. For mortgage we party, we not believe in what the APC stand for. The worst thing can happen to anybody now for make you dey in opposition where your party dey in governance. And that will happen to APC if we elect a stranger who can lead with party. So let we elect somebody when a true APC, we believe in the APC, we don't demonstrate in love and commitment to the APC. We need somebody also we don't demonstrate say ego day for defend what the APC stand for. Even in the midst of threats. And I don't demonstrate say I can be there from the party, even against all odds, even taking risks to go on radio, go on television, for defend the party in position. They don't hold me, they don't lock me up because of that. But I know they stop. I still they articulate the party in position. Because I believe, say, the people of this country will be presented with a choice. Will be presented with the option. Or choose either the way of the SLPP or the way of the APC. And the only way that will happen are when we aggressively prosecute we own position against the people there for answer. When we party in challenge, in by-elections, all over the country, I have been there for you at huge costs, enemy territory, but try for defend what the party stand for. And I believe, say, for 2023, we need somebody we're ready for lead we into those difficult areas and show victory for the party. I don't demonstrate, say, I understand, say, some people they don't admit, say there were lapses in 2018. And indirectly admitting that they failed for doing what they're supposed to do in 2018. We need somebody we understand about elections. We go protect we votes. We could make sure, say, we put in place the systems for sure, say, we produce your results in record time, like how we don't do in all by elections so far. And ensuring agents place an overall we ballot take place to come out in fear. I want somebody for lead me from the front. And I don't demonstrate but say I can lead from the front and deliver victory to the APC. So I'm saying, comrades of the APC, here am I. Dr. Richard Konteh. I want to be your flag bearer. I want to lead you into the next elections and bring victory back to the APC. That together we can unite our party. Together we can unite our country. And together we can build a better future for all of us. I count on your blessings. I count on your direction. I count on your guidance. I count on your support. God being our supreme helper. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you this evening. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best. God bless.
Thank you so much, Dr. Konteh. Thank you to all we listeners and viewers. We welcome Una again for come back next week and can get more of Dr. Richard Konteh. That's the end of our show for today, and Una enjoy the rest of Una weekend. Thank you.